Right guys, welcome down, good morning. Sorry about sorting the camera out there. The tripod's a little bit all over the place off the disco on Friday. What time is it now? Let's have a look. It's 9:57, so 3 or 4 minutes or so, and we're going to get started with the lesson, okay? Remember, as always, I'll need pen and paper, all the links to all the worksheets and everything like that I will give you afterwards, okay? I hope you've had a really good weekend, and we'll give it a couple of minutes and we'll get started. Yes, Drew, yeah, you'll need some pen and paper, okay, as always. Right guys, so it's 10 o'clock, so we are going to get started, okay? Welcome down. If you haven't been to one of my live lessons before, welcome. If you've missed them, you can catch them all again on YouTube. All my lessons from last week are there, so if there's any you want to go back over, the drawing or the science or the English and maths, any of that, they're all there. But welcome down. Hope you've had a really good weekend. Monday morning, so we're going to be doing a SPaG lesson today, looking at spelling, punctuation and grammar. As always, all you need is a pen and some paper. All the worksheets and everything that we have to go along with the lesson will be available to download, but you won't need them until after the lesson, okay? Focus on what we're doing in the lesson, making notes with your pencil or your pen or on your paper, whatever it is that you're making your notes on, okay? You'll all be getting great at making notes at the minute, but it is a really good skill to have to be listening when you're writing them down. It makes it stick in your mind a little bit more, so they'll really help as well. As always, this lesson is going to stay up online, so if you need to go back on over it when you're doing work later on the worksheets or anything like that, you can. You can load the video up and just go to the parts that you need. I'll see you around after the lesson if anyone needs anything, questions or anything like that, need you to understand them. You can get in contact with us if you do need help as well. you can contact me on my social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, which is Mr. Biggins123, or you can send us a message on the Padlet, which the link is below, or there is the email address as well that you can send us work and things to as well. Again, that's on the Padlet. So all of those ways to get in contact with us. And if there's anything you don't miss, you miss out, or you don't understand or anything as we're going, just forget about it. Keep concentrating on the lesson. Go back and have a little look afterwards. Maybe ask me afterwards, and we can clear that up then. Chat as well. Great to see you in the chat. Lots of you talking to each other, catching up and everything. Brilliant. Okay. Please keep it appropriate. No spamming or anything like that. We've got some of the teachers in there. Good morning, all the teachers that are in there. They will time you out if you're spamming anything, or they will remove you from the chat if you're spoiling for other people who are trying to give me answers and stuff like that in there. Okay, obviously if you're watching this back on the replay, the live chat won't be there. So we're going to get started straight away. I did this last week as well. I gave you a word of the week. The word of the week last week was jubilant, which just meant something that was really happy and really good. Okay, when I looked at your stories on Friday, I didn't see anyone put them in. Okay, some really good ones. Might be some more coming in later as well. But remember, try and use this word. Try and use it when you're talking to people. Try and use it when you're writing things. Try and use it all the time. And when you use it over and over again, it becomes part of your vocabulary. What I mean by your vocabulary, not words that you understand, it is words that you will use when you are talking. Okay, and if you increase your vocabulary, you make that better. All good. Okay, so the word of the week today is tedious. You know what you want to do, it's up to you. You can make a note of it. Last week I mentioned you might want to keep a little page, and each week put the new word in, so you're sort of making a little dictionary sort of for yourself there, a little thesaurus more than anything. Okay, where you've got all these words in and you use them. So tedious. So tedious, it's a great word. It's a word that we can use to probably describe my lessons. So a definition, it means something that is too long, slow, or dull, tiresome. Definitely explains my lessons, doesn't it? Okay, so if I say, oh, this work is tedious, you're saying it's slow, or it's dull, or it's boring, or it's tiresome and tires you out, you're not really bothered about doing. He was a very tedious person. Okay, he's a very slow or dull, or not very exciting. Okay, so we've got synonyms here. We've got a couple. We've got two synonyms. We've got monotonous and boring. Okay, monotonous is another great word, and obviously it's a synonym, so we know it means. It is very similar to tedious. When it says monotonous, we normally are starting to talk about things that are more too long. Okay, so less slow and more too long and dull. Okay, those two things is what monotonous mean. Because remember, when synonyms, the words don't mean exactly the same meaning, they mean similar things. Okay, so you can't just always replace that word with that word. Okay, monotonous tends to be when you talk about something that's too long and dull. So you can see they're very similar in meaning, but you wouldn't be able to use tedious all the time for monotonous. But that's a great word as well. And boring is a word I'm sure that you will know. And an antonym, so a word that means the opposite. Obviously, if something's really dull, really boring, something that means the opposite to that would be exciting. Okay, something that's exciting. I don't need to explain that word, do you? You already know, I'm sure you know what that word means. So that's your word. I'll leave it on for a little bit longer, in case you are copying it down. And then what we're going to move on to is a little starter. It's been the weekend to get our brains going, okay? And what I'm going to do in the starter is I'm going to write a sentence down. And when I write the sentence down, I want you to spot different word classes in that sentence, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to tell me in the chat. If you're watching back, just in your head, before I tell you the answer, think, what are the words that I'm asking for? So we'll get rid of this word of the week. It's been up long there. If you didn't get everything, remember you can watch the video back. So if you just missed the antonym or something like that, you can grab that later. Okay. So I'm going to write a sentence. Okay. And as I'm writing this, what I want you to do is I want you to find the nouns in this sentence. Said nouns are plural, more than one. Okay. So as I'm writing this sentence, write down any nouns in the chat for me. To see. So David visited Manchester to see his favourite team? Obviously Sunderland playing away, not a team in Manchester. Miss Olsen. Okay, so David visited Manchester to see his favourite team. So what I want you to do, can you tell me the nouns that are in that sentence? What I'm going to tell you as well is a proper noun, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. A proper noun is a type of noun as well, so we'd have to include those ones. Got lots in there. So we've got some people saying 2. I've got seen one person, well done, Milo. You've got all 3. There are 3 there. Have another quick look if you haven't got 3. And there's more people getting it there. Well done, Sam. Well done, Stephen. Well done, Christy. Millie. Lucy. Really, really good work there. Well done, that's right. So our nouns in this sentence, okay, see loads of people getting them all there, are David, Manchester, and team. Now, in that sentence, David and Manchester are proper nouns. In the chat, can you tell me, right, we know that proper nouns, it means a specific noun, okay? So a noun is a person, place, or a thing, something like that, okay? So person, place, or things, we've got team, we've got Manchester, David. A proper noun is a specific one, okay? So a normal noun would be city, but a specific one would be Sunderland, okay? A normal noun would be person, a proper noun would be David because it's a specific person. Can you tell me in the chat, what's the easiest way to spot a proper noun in a sentence, okay? You can always spot a proper noun. Now on this one, Manchester's probably the easiest one to spot that in, is a proper noun. Okay. Others don't. Brilliant, straight in there. Well done, Christian. Hadassah. XD YOLO. William. Well done. Yeah, loads of people getting it there now. Yeah, it's got a capital letter. Okay. So proper nouns always have a capital letter. Okay, so I'm going to write another sentence, and in this sentence I want you to find the verbs. Okay, now just so everyone knows, okay, I'm not going to check in the chat for this, but can a few of you tell us what a verb is in the chat? Okay, and I'm sure the teachers will tell you who is right there. So what is a verb? So anyone who's mistaken a little bit because it's been a while since they've been to school and they forgot what a verb is, they'll be able to find them as well. Verbs as well, I said plural, so there's 2 of them. So very quickly, they opened the door to discover a tomb. So very quickly, they opened their door to discover a tomb. Okay, so look for the verbs in there. I'm sure someone in the chat will have told you what it is. The teachers will have confirmed that, a verb. So can you find them? Verbs, more than one. There's more than one verb in there. Okay, well done, a doing word and action. That's our verb. So thank you for you guys putting those in. Can you find the verbs in there? Let's have a quick look. There are 2 verbs in there. Well done, Millie. Let's see, did you get that quicker than your brother? Looks like it. Well done, Kieran, Kiwi. Well done, Ray. Ray, you've got 1 there. Have a look at the other one. You've got an adverb in there, which we'll be looking at in a couple of seconds. Well done, Freya. Well done, Amelie. Julianne. Joseph. Francis. Brilliant, really good answers there. So yeah, there are 2 verbs in here, 2 actions that are being done. One of them is, where's my red pen? There we go. One of them is opened, because it's something they're doing, they're opening the door. And the next one is discover, okay? So with discover, I'll underline that a little bit more because there's a word that helps us just before it normally find a verb. To, if you see the word to, it's normally followed by a verb, okay? To discover, to walk, to run, okay? If it was saying something like going to the park, when you're saying somewhere where you're going, it wouldn't. but a lot of the times verbs will have to before. Okay, not all the time, obviously you can see with opened, but they can help you there. Next one, we're going to look for adjective. One, not plural this time, there's only one. So what I want you to do is in the chat for me, tell everyone what an adjective is so everyone knows what they are looking for. Okay, if you're not sure, keep your eyes on the chat. If you do know, obviously put it in to help everyone else out. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Do my job for me. I'm a chancer. Sheena, Philip and Anthony loved wearing velvet jumpers. Get them, eh? Velvet jumpers. Sheena, Philip and Anthony, you doing all right? Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look at the chat, see if we've got in there what an adjective is, and see if you can see there's only one adjective in there. Okay. Right. Oh, let's have a look there. Christian, well done. Gold star, Christian. I've got lots of people there saying a describing word. Okay, only Christian's put in, it describes a noun. Okay, because we do have other types of describing word. So, adjective tells us more about a noun, gives us, describes a noun, tells us something more about that noun. Okay, a noun, because we're going to be looking, yes, next at another type of describing word. So, well done, Christian. Was it Christian? I think it was. Yes, Christian, really well done. Okay, if that's not your name, if you're using Dad's account or something like that, apologise, but you know who you are. Brilliant, well done. And then I can see lots of answers coming in there. Ruby's got it right. Ellie has. Milo, well done. Seb, Jasmine. Seb, we'll see the answer. You don't have to put it 3 times. Okay, we can see that the describing word there is velvet, describing our noun. So this is our noun, and it's describing it. It's telling us what type of jumper. So we could just have love wearing jumpers, but we've got that describing word in there. Okay, so well done if you found velvet. Okay, and next sentence. Now this is the one that people might find a little bit harder because you won't have been looking at these as long. We'll go for green. So I want you to find the adverb in this sentence. Okay, everyone in the chat now, if you know what an adverb is, put it in the chat, as much detail as you can. Okay, I'm looking for some really good answers. I'm gonna have to find a way to give out some sort of prizes for good answers and stuff like that, because every single lesson I'm blown away. I'm amazed by how good your answers all are. So sensibly they scurried down the corridor. Now, I don't know how you scurry sensibly. Maybe you can have a practice after the lesson. But that's what they're doing. Sensibly, they scurried down the corridor. Okay. Hello to everyone as well. I've just seen there's 127 people watching. So welcome down. Okay. I hope it's all helping you. If you're just new to the lesson, welcome. Right. Chat, I need to check. Have we found what an adverb is? Well done, Hadassah. Hadassah has told us it, and then she's used the right word, okay, in there. There's only one adverb in it. I can see some people putting a couple of words in. There's only adverbs, okay? Just so I'm going to let people know, and see a lot of the right answer there, so really well done. But I'm going to tell you what an adverb is for those people who are maybe a little bit off. So an adverb, remember I mentioned before, an adjective describes a noun, gives more information. An adverb describes and gives us more information about a verb. Think about it, okay? We've got adjective, so that AD at the start is telling us that it's describing and it's giving us more information. Adjective, more about noun. Adverb, more about a verb. It's in the actual word, okay, to help us. So when you look at adverb, look like, oh, it's got to be something to do with a verb, and then maybe it will jog in your memory, okay? It can tell us who, where, what, when, how much a verb is being done, okay? So in this one, I can see there are loads and loads of really good answers in there, okay? And our right answer is sensibly, okay? That is our adverb in there. It's telling us how they scurried. Okay, so that's our verb. They scurried, and they scurried sensibly. Okay, now a lot of people say, oh, look for your adverb, look for your ly. That's really, really good. Okay, a lot of ly words are adverbs, but not all. Okay, so you need to still look at it. And as well as that, there are words that aren't ending in ly that are adverbs, okay? So remember, I tell us how, where, when a verb's being done. So I could say, yesterday they scurried down the corridor. It's telling us about the verb. It's telling us when they scurried. Doesn't end ly, so always remember that. And one little thing, see if we've remembered. If you've been to school, if you're in year 5, if you're definitely in year 6, you probably have looked at this, okay? This is an adverb, but it's a type of adverb, okay? Can someone tell me what type of adverb it is? And I'll give you a clue. Look at where it is in the sentence. Okay, have a quick look. Have a look where it is in the sentence. What type of adverb is that? Well done. Got some answers coming through there now. Lucy, Joseph, okay, Christian, Isabel, Freya, Sunset Gamers. I don't know who you are, but I don't know your real name, I mean. But well done. Okay, it's a fronted adverbial. Okay, we might look at those in another lesson. Don't worry too much about them if you don't. If you do want to know about them before we do a lesson on them, I do have other videos on my YouTube channel. One is fronted adverbials. But fronted adverbials basically means an adverb at the front of a sentence, and we put our comma after it. So really well done. Right, so that should have woke our brains up so we can move on to the main part of the lesson. But before I do, there was something I want to mention at the start of the lesson, which I completely forgot to, okay? Last week, with the lesson on, what was it we did last lesson? Oh, expanded noun phrases and prepositional phrases, okay? I set a Kahoot up for you, and I set that for a week to see who scored when, who had understood the most and really, really tried, okay? And I'm going to tell you the top 3 from last week. There's a Kahoot again for this week, so hopefully you can try and get on next week. Now, in 3rd place was Tom B. Well done, Tom B. Great name, okay? And in 1st and 2nd, it was really, really close, okay? One person missed out by about that much, okay? In 2nd place was Millie. No letter after that one. I know there's a couple of Millies that watch the channel, so I don't know which one it is. Okay, remember I said if you have a go at the Kahoot, put your first name and your initial. And then it was Ryan S. who got full marks for every single question right on that Kahoot. So well done, Ryan S. Okay, I do know there's a Ryan A at our school. I don't know whether it's them and they've missed with the key, but if it's someone who's at our school and it's a Ryan S, brilliant, well done, mate. Okay, Millie, whichever Millie it was, you missed out by, there was one question where it asked you to put a small noun phrase and you put an expanded noun phrase. So one word missed you that top spot because you were first in. Unlucky, but really well done, guys. There was loads of people had a go at that one. Well done, and we'll hopefully do the same again today. So we're going to move on. First thing we're going to look at today is we're going to look at a spelling rule, okay? Now, the spelling rule we're going to look at is the spelling rule that lots of people know, and it's called I before E except after C. Now, it's probably the most well-known rule for spelling in the world, okay? Loads of people will know that one, loads of people see it. However, it is also the least understood, and we're going to find out why today. And it's basically because people don't know the whole of the rule. I before E except after C is not the full rule, okay? So we're going to look at data and we're going to find out how to use it. Now, spelling practice is important. Everyone who goes to my school will know this. I'm not the best speller in the world, okay? I really struggled with it from when I was your age, okay? And I really have to try it. And the only way that I get better at it is practice. And I'm still not perfect, and you don't have to get to being perfect, okay? But if you try, it will improve over time. Your spelling will get there. So don't worry. If you're not very good at spelling, don't be going, oh, I'm not very good at spelling. that's great. If you're not very good at spelling, and you're doing some practice, it's something that you need a little bit of a hand on. So let's go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of words on the board. Remember, the rule is, well, the rule that people think it is, I before E, except after C. Okay? So what that means is when you're spelling a word, you put the I, if the I and E are together, you put the I before the E, unless it's after the letter C. But I'm going to put some words on the board, and I want you to write down in the chat any ones that don't match this rule. Okay? So we have believe. We have achieve. Okay? So in these words, as I'm putting them up, you need to look for that I and that E together. Is it matching the rule? Okay, look at the word, find the I and the E, read the rule again. Okay? And see if it matches the rule. So the words that we have there, we have believe, achieve, weird, receipt, relieve, and seize. Okay? So those words all have an I and an E together in the word. Okay? Have a look at each word. Which words out of those 6 don't match the rule? Okay? I'll give you a clue. There are 2 words that don't match the rule. I'm going to have a look in the chat, see if you're doing it. If you're watching the lesson back, jot them down, maybe have a look. Well done, Kate's got them both there, and Sunset Gamers. Well done, Ollie, you've got one of them. Francis, have a look at that one. Francis, in yours, have a look what letter is before them and have a look at the rule again. Okay. Well done, Izzy. Amelie. Milo, it's weird, not wield, but I like it. Right, okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people have got them there, and I'm going to go through each one, okay? And let's see how we would use this rule to see if they're going. So where's my I and my E? I and E together here. Is the I before the E? Yeah. Is there a C anywhere? No. So I is before the E, so that one matches the rule, okay? Now let's go on to achieve. Achieve, here's our I and our E, okay? And I've got my I before my E. There's a C there, but it's not right before. So that one matches our rule. I've got my I before my E, okay? Now let's have a look at this one. Weird. Got my I and my E here, but I've got my E first. So first thing you need to check, is there a C before it? No, there's no C, okay? So that one doesn't match this rule. Matches the rule, but not the rule that everyone thinks it is. Then we have receipt here. We have the E and the I. We have the E first, so we need to look at the letter before. It's a C, okay? So except after the C. So it's after C, so that's right, because after C, you put them the other way around. Let's have a look at relief. I and E here. I first, no C. That matches the rule. And the last one, we have E first, no C. So these are the 2 words that don't match the rule that everyone knows. Now, when you go online, if you type in this rule or anything like that, loads of things will be on Google and memes and stuff like that. People saying, I play except C, except on these occasions, and have loads of words because they think they're being funny. But it's because they don't understand the rule, okay? There are exception words with more spelling rules in English. Unfortunately, just to confuse us, there is exceptions. But with these words all actually follow the rule. We just don't have the whole rule yet. So what I'm going to do is I'll be really, really, really impressed, okay, if anyone finds out and anyone puts in the chat why it is that these words match the rule. work out what the last part of the rule is. I'm going to say each of these words because the next part of the rule has something to do with the way the word sounds. So I'm going to say these words, and as I say them, can you work out what the next part of the rule is? Okay? So I'm also going to exaggerate the part of the word that we are looking for. Okay? Believe, achieve, weird, receipt, relieve, seize. Okay, I'm going to go again. Listen to what I'm exaggerating. What am I saying a little bit differently to maybe what I would normally do when I say the word? And in the chat, put what you think the next part of the rule is. Okay, explain how the best you can, because I know it might be hard. So believe, achieve, weird, receipt, relieve. That one sounds weird. Relieve, seize. Let's have a look at the chat, see if we've got any green boxes, what we're doing. If you're watching again, in your head, are you managing to get it? I can see some people, yeah, they find it hard to write it down. But I think Emily, Joshua's got it. Don't worry if you haven't got it, I'm going to explain it in a couple of seconds for you. Well done, Isabel, good way to describe it. Really well done there. I didn't think anyone would be able to get that one, and there's quite a few in the chat got it, okay? I did exaggerate and say a little bit longer, but the next part of the rule is I before E, except after C, when the sound is a long E, okay? And the way we put that, okay, so I'm going to add this in. I'll write it underneath in a minute. So if you listen, believe, so that IE is making a long E sound, okay? Achieve, that E sound, okay? I'm exaggerating a little bit so you can hear it, but it's got that long E, okay? Weird, okay? I don't go weird, okay? Doesn't work, okay? Receipt, it's got that C in there, so that's why it's different for us. Relief, okay? I before E got that longer one. And then seize, okay? You don't go seize, okay? If I go believe, it sounds strange, but it sounds believable, okay? If I go seize, okay, it sounds really, really stupid, okay? People are probably going to clip this video of me saying all these words and look like an absolute numpty, okay? But that is the rule, and that's why lots of people get it wrong, because they just think it's I before E except after C. It's not. It's I after E except after C when the sound is long E. And I'll write down, I'll show you on the board. Oh, here we go. I'll show you on the board how we put that. When I have to see, except after C, when it is a long E is the best way to describe it, okay? You might want to describe it another way. Sometimes you might see it say when it is a E sound, okay? So years and years ago when you're doing your phonics, you'll have seen that, which means it's a long E sound, because remember when I put letters together in English, it changes what the sound makes, okay? So that's the rule. Now, it is really one of the really difficult rules, okay? Because you have to know that word, you have to be able to say it. If you're looking at a word that you don't know, okay, and you're trying to pronounce it, that can be hard. So it is a hard rule. Not saying that it is easy, but with practice you will get it. And your best way to not come over words that you're unsure of what they mean is read, which is brilliant anyway, okay? So, this is the rule that most people think they know and they're clever when they go on I before E except for C, but they don't actually know the whole rule. That is the whole rule. So if you hear anyone saying that one, you can call them out. You can say you are wrong. So what you're going to do first is you need to write this rule down. Write this rule down on a piece of paper, okay? So you have it and you can see it, okay? Write that down because you're going to use it for a little task in about 5-10 seconds. So I'll leave it there. So it's I before E, except after C, when it is a long E. I might put sound there, okay? Because if you're looking back at these notes, you might, what's a long E, okay? Is that a long E? Okay? So I might put E sound on. Great. The dad joke, Mrs. Shaw would love that one. Okay, a long E. Look at that, long E. Sorry, I entertained myself. Okay, so That's your rule. Everyone should have that wrote down now, and I'm going to leave it on. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to do a little spelling test. Now, I can hear the grunts from here. What we're going to do, it's only going to be a few words, but the words, the main thing that I want you to think of when we're doing this is the I before E spelling rule, okay? So if you get the I and the E right in the word, okay, that's the most important thing, okay? If you get the, obviously, we want to really try and get the whole word spelled correctly, but if you miss other letters out around, that's fine. I haven't given you these spellings to check, to read, to go over, or anything like that. What we're doing now is testing that we can put this rule into practice, okay? Spelling, you should never learn one word at a time, all of the time. Some words you need to, but if you had to do that, the dictionary is a very long book. It would take you ages to remember all those. Remembering the rules is the easy way to do it. So your most important thing is your I before E, except after C, when it is a long E sound when you do these. So, if you've wrote down any of the words off before, cover them or something like that, and we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. So I'll say the word, I'll put it into a sentence, and then I'll say the word again, okay? Then we'll go back and we'll see how you did, okay? Pens and papers at the ready. Everyone, get ready to have a go. So your first word is height. Mrs. Shaw isn't very happy about her height. Height. Because we're looking at this rule, what I will do when I'm saying the words, I will exaggerate that sound that we're looking for as well. Sorry, Mrs. Shaw, I love you really. Word number 2, thief. He was sure a thief had stolen it. Thief. I don't know why I went so high there. Your next word, word 3. Don't put it in the chat for me, please, okay? Write it down on a piece of paper, all right? If you're trying to have a real go as well, write it down on a piece of paper. Just don't look at the chat at the minute because there's some people put it in, okay? I didn't say put it in the chat. I said put it down on a piece of paper. Listen to you on, okay? Don't put it in the chat because it'll spoil it for other people, all right? Your third word, deceive. He wanted to deceive her so she didn't know what was going on. Deceive. Okay. If you want to have a go, guys, there are some people putting it in the chat. Just don't look at the chat for the next couple of seconds while we're doing this, and you can have a look afterwards, okay? Don't worry about it. Deceive, if you don't know what deceive means, like lie, okay? If you're deceiving someone, you're lying to them. Next word. Briefing. He went to the morning briefing to find out what he had to do. Briefing. First way I said it is your clue. Now as well, remember we're doing this spelling rule, so in your spelling you will always have an I and an E next to each other somewhere in the word, okay? Or E and I. Your next word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your fifth word. Ceiling. Mr. Biggins was too tall. Sometimes he hit his head off the ceiling. Ceiling. Especially with my hair at the minute. Next word, the word that links in with our science topic from last week, is veins. We have lots of veins, arteries and capillaries in our circulatory system. See what I did there? Veins. And your last one that we're going to do is the word beige. She had a beige handbag. Beige. And I'll give you a couple of seconds to write that last one down. Right, we're going to go back and we're going to have a look at them. I'll write them down. Okay. Mark your own. What you need to do is if you get one incorrect, don't let it get you down. Just have a look what it is that you got wrong. And remember that so you don't get it wrong next time. Okay. Getting them wrong is not a bad thing. Learning from it is a great thing. Okay. So your first one was height. Now we can see there, we've got the E, then the I, it's height. The EI has an I sound there, doesn't it? Height, okay? So it's heat, okay? It's height. So the E and the I go around that way. Follows our rule. Next one. Thief. Thief. Okay, you can extend that out. I before E, got that long E sound. Okay? Your next word was deceive. Got that long E sound, but what letter is it following? It's following a C, okay, which means we go E first, okay? So I before E, except after C, okay? So we've got our E first, then our I. Next one was briefing. Briefing, okay? I before E, briefing, okay? It's got that long E sound that we can elongate there. So I becomes first, I then E. Your next word was, what was it? Ceiling. Okay, we had the E first because what letter is it in front of? C, okay? So we put our E first, ceiling, okay? That goes on those ones there. Sometimes when you look at it, it doesn't look right, okay? But again, we know our rules, so we know it is right. Your next one links in veins, okay? We've got our E first. If you think about this in that word, veins, that EI is actually making that an ear sound, isn't it? Veins, okay? Apologise for all these different sounds. If you're not a native English speaker and you are watching this video or anything, English is a very hard language to learn. Because, okay, and your last one was beige. Again, EI, beige. We've got that ear sound, haven't we? We've got beige, not beige, okay, it's beige. It's got that long ear, it's got that ear sound rather than the long E, so the E goes first. So those are your words, okay, so I hope you did well on that. Knowing the rules, fine. If you got, maybe you missed off the G or something from height, if you got your EI right, that was the most important thing that we're looking at, okay? So well done for those. Now, like I mentioned, unfortunately, with spelling rules, there are exceptions that don't match this rule. There just aren't as many exceptions as people think. People think the rule doesn't really work because there's that many words that are the same, but it's because they don't know this part. That is your important part, okay? And that was hard to master. Okay, and all it takes is practice, okay? So well done for that. That's our spelling part of the lesson over. So what we're going to move on there now, let's have a look. Some people put the scores in, 7 out of 7, 6 out of 7, 3 out of 7. Some good scores there. Remember, it doesn't matter if you don't get them all right. We are learning at the minute, okay? It's looking at them, knowing that you've got them wrong is important because we'll learn from that, okay? So well done for all your hard work there. Okay, so what we're going to move on to now is we are going to move on to something called direct speech. What I want you to do, if you know what direct speech is, put it down in the comments. If you don't know what direct speech is, have a think about it. What could it be? Put that in the not in the comments, in the chat. And if you're watching that again, in your head, or tell someone that you're there with, what do you think or what do you know direct speech is? Okay, what do you think? Wait for some answers to come through. They're really impressed. Lots of people in the lesson today, and you're all really working really hard, so it's really good to see. Some answers starting to come through there, okay? Don't worry, Caitlin, don't cry if you don't know. Don't worry. You will find out by the end of the lesson, won't you? Well done, Jasmine. Well done, Millie Millie C. Well done. Sorry about that, Millie. Well done, Super Mario Vin. I can guess who that one is, Vinny. Good to see you, Vinny. First time I've seen you in the chat. Brilliant. Okay, so direct speech, okay, is when someone, or when you write down what someone is exactly saying, exactly what they are saying, like a quote sometimes people might call it, okay? You're not changing it, not changing exactly, it's what someone is saying in a text, a newspaper report, a story, anything like that. So I'm going to write down two different versions of the same sentence. And what I want you to do is to say whether number one or number two is the direct speech. So first one says, I said hello. Are you okay? And number two is, he asked how she was. So this could both be using the same sort of story to mean the same thing. He asked how she was, or I said, hello, how are you? Or we'll even change it so it's even closer. We can change it to, he said, hello, how are you? Okay. So which one is the direct speech? Is it number one or is it number two? There are lots of number ones, a couple of number twos, but mainly number ones. Hadassah, Izzy, Lola, Suzanne, Francis, Isabel, sorry, I'm trying to mention Evie, Becca, William, Isabel, P, same mints with no email, Sunset Gamer, Hitchy Comms, okay, well done. It is one, okay. Now we're going to go through the rules in a minute, but the easiest way to spot direct speech is we have our inverted commas, okay, and we're going to look at the rules in a minute. But if this is direct speech, does anyone know what we call this one? This is just a quick little knowledge check to see if you know, okay? Because if you know what direct speech is, do you know what this one is then? Where we're not sort of saying, okay, what is that called? There's two different things that you might have heard it called. Can you pop them down in the chat? If you know both, put them both down. Or if you know it as this, what do we call this type of speech? If you know this is direct speech, there's one that's really easy to remember, okay? Something to do with the suffix that means the opposite. Let's have a look, see if we know. Brilliant, I've seen them both there. I'm just going to go straight away. William Weldon's got one of them and Hadassah's got the other one. We do call this one, we call it indirect speech or reported speech. Now, we're not going to look at that today, and we're not going to have a look, but just in case anyone asked you, or if you got a question where it said, is this direct speech or indirect speech, you know what indirect is. Indirect is when you're not saying exactly what the person said, or reported speech, because you're reporting what they said, not said. So brilliant. So, speech marks and your speech, your direct speech, are a little bit like the spelling rule we looked at today, actually. They are things that lots of people use and think they know how to use, but they use incorrectly. There's a few of the things that people do, they get the main things right, the same as I before E, but there's a couple of things that they forget and they get wrong, and they think they're dead smart, and they make themselves look like a numpty, okay? Don't do this in the chat, don't want you to do it in the chat. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, and I want you in that couple of minutes to write down on a piece of paper as many of the rules you think there are for using direct speech. Now, big help is I'm going to leave that on the board. Okay, so have a look. And what do you think the rules are for direct speech? Okay, write them down, as many as you can, and then not in the chat, just on a piece of paper, and then afterwards we're going to see what we can do. Go now. If you're not sure, if you haven't looked at speech before, or direct speech or anything like that, if you are unsure, the easiest thing to do, have a look at my piece of direct speech on the board, okay, and have a look at things. What things do you notice, okay, and write them down. Have a go at it, okay. Don't just sit there and say I don't know. Always have a go. Be smart, be logical, have a look and think what it is. Right, you've had a couple of seconds there now. Now what I want you to do, start putting them in the chat. And what I want, teachers who are in the chat moderating, please, would you be able to see if they get them all? What I'm going to do is I want you to start writing them in the chat. I'm going to, in 2 seconds, put a list of the rules that we need for them, okay? And afterwards, I'll check with the teachers to see whether you've got them all. So start putting in any rules that you know now, and as a group, see if you can get all the rules that I'm going to put on the board. Okay, I'm getting my list up, because even I need to make sure that I'm not missing any, okay? So, I'm going to give you 5-10 seconds to get some in the chat, okay? Teachers in there will be checking to see whether you've got these before I put them up on the board, okay? So don't try to be sneaky, okay? So the first thing, most important thing, obviously at the spot direct speech, if you have a question on which one's indirect, which one's direct, is we use inverted I've been told there someone seems bang on. Miss Carthy thinks someone's got it exactly. But that depends on Mrs. Carthy knows all the rules. Let's wait and see. We use inverted commas. Okay, so we use inverted commas. Sometimes these are called speech marks. Sometimes they're called quotation marks. When you look in tests and things like that, they will be called inverted commas, so you need them called that. And that's these two here, okay? So they need to have inverted commas. And the inverted commas are around what is actually said. Okay, so that's important as well, especially when we are splitting them up. So nothing else in the sentence, so just go to the start and the end of what is being said to say, this is what they said. So I've got my inverted commas here. Some of you might have heard them as 66 and 99s when you were coming up, but they go that way into it and come that way out, and there's two of them. Okay, now they are just around hello, are you okay? Because that's what the person said. The person did not say, he said, hello, are you okay? So if I come to and go, I said, hello, are you okay? It wouldn't make sense, would it? You think, are you okay, Mr. B? Is lockdown getting to you? Okay, so it's just around what's being said, nothing else. Remember that, because some people do get a little bit mixed up with that. Next rule, oh, two people apparently might be bang on. Let's put in a different colour so you can see. Okay, so the second rule, and what I'll be doing is you'll have your notes of the rules, write down any you haven't got, add any extra detail you might want to, okay? Having those rules there will help you with your work when you get on with it later on, and you won't have to come back to the video. And as I always say, look at my window again, okay? So we need punctuation, at the end of the speech, And I'm going to make this obvious inside inverted commas. So, what I'm talking about there, now don't look, we're going to have a look in a little bit more detail at this, but at the end of my sentence, at the end of the speech, not the sentence, I'll take that back, didn't say that. At the end of the speech, you need some punctuation, okay? Here, I have a question mark because a question is being asked, and it's inside the inverted commas, okay? So you should always have some punctuation, then your inverted commas. We'll have a look at the different things that you can use in a little bit, so don't worry about that too much. We're going to go over that rule in a little bit more detail, but you need to have punctuation at the end of it. Okay, now this one some people forget because it's just obvious. You need to have a reporting clause. Now I've done that in red and my thing is in red, but this is my reporting clause, okay? Tell me who said it, sometimes how they said it. He quietly said, he whispered, she shouted, they yelled, okay? This is our reporting clause. You might not have put that there in your rules, but we need to know who is talking. Sometimes it goes before, sometimes it goes after. They're both absolutely fine, okay? But we need our reporting clause telling us, okay? If when you put this rule down, you might want to put examples. I shouted, she softly said, they whispered, he shouted at the top of his voice. Those are all reporting clauses. Tell us who's saying the thing that is being said, which is important because if you just have that, you don't know who is talking. We'll go purple. Now these are ones that people do forget. So these rules, people normally remember. You always remember these, question marks and things. These are the important ones people tend to forget. Okay. So we need a capital letter at the start of the speech. Look here, we are in the middle of a sentence, but we've got a capital letter because that is the start of the speech in this sentence. So we always have a capital letter at the start. People forget that one. So from now on, you don't know, okay? This is another one people forget when I'm going to use orange. All right, best way to do this. So what we need is a comma leading into the speech if it's before after the reporting clause, okay? So if our speech is after the reporting clause, because we could have it afterwards, and if it is, don't worry, we're going to look at that in a little bit, okay? But we have it after the reporting clause, we have, look, a comma there. So we have a comma going into the speech. He said, comma, then you have your speech and you've got commas and everything. Hello. People forget this one, I think, more than anything. So that you want to remember from this lesson. In your head, see it over and over again. Comma leading into the speech, comma leading into the speech, comma leading into the speech. Don't forget, okay? And your last one, this is if you have multiple people speaking. Have I got another pen? I've got a different type of blue. We'll try that one. Okay. I know I've got all these colours now. I know it's sad, it was my birthday last week. I was really excited. I got loads of different colours pens. The teachers will understand that excitement. I don't think you will. There we go to like your felt tip pens, I suppose. Same type of thing. New line, new speaker. That's the last rule there. So I'm going to ask the teachers, would you pop me a message there? Tell me whether they got them all, okay? I'm sure they did. New line, new speaker. So what that means is, and again, we'll have a little look, but if there are two people speaking, okay, when you go on to the next person speaking, you go on to another line, okay? So you have that, and then if someone else said anything, you wouldn't continue on your line, you go on the next line, okay? And we'll have a little talk about why that's important on there. Come on, teachers, sort it out. I'm waiting to see whether they got them all. Now, I'm going to say, I think these two, maybe this one, okay, you missed out on, okay? Don't think that you got it all. I'm going to have a look at the chat Oh, there we go. Mrs. Carthy's actually. Yeah, Mrs. Carthy and Miss Allison tell me that you got them all, and there's some people there. 3. I think she's saying Stephen, Hadassah, Billy look like they've got the probably got the words bang on. Okay, some of you might not have mentioned reporting clause. I'll let you off with that one because if you've got all this right, okay, all the other rules, you will be putting that one in anyway. Okay, so I'll let you off with those 2. But those 3 people who got them properly bang on, brilliant, well done. Okay, I'm gonna leave this a little bit. Okay. Make sure you've noted these down because they are going to help you. And now we're going to go into a little bit more detail, okay, of how these actually work. Because sometimes you write these down and think, yeah, that's obvious, but then there's little things you come up with when you're starting to write or you're starting to do things. You think, oh, actually, I don't know what to do here because it's a little bit different than just a normal simple sentence. So we're going to have a look at those ones. Okay. Now, we mentioned here, let's have a look what I'm going to go on to. Okay, we mentioned here that we need punctuation at the end of the speech inside the inverted commas. So I'm going to start writing these off because we should have these ones down. Okay, remember if you haven't got them all, go back and grab them after the lesson. Okay, just jot them down. Okay, so I said that you need some punctuation at the end. So what that means is, at the end of your speech, you need either a question mark if it's a question, an exclamation mark if someone's showing something or doing something like that. We need a full stop, okay, maybe that'll be bigger than normal, or we need a comma. Now, in this sentence, okay, we would only ever use these 3, and that is because the speech is after the reporting clause. So this is the end of our sentence. So that means we end it with a question mark, exclamation mark, or full stop. Now, another thing as well, I don't need a full stop after this. Okay? Don't need that. This is my punctuation for the end of my sentence. This just goes afterwards to say your punctuation was in the speech. Okay? So you don't need to have 3. Okay? You shouldn't have 3 bits of punctuation together. So it would only end in these. However, there are some times that you would use a comma, and I'm going to show you. Tell me in the chat what is different about this sentence. We are going home. We use a comma at the end there. Just going to change that just. So, what is different, okay? In this sentence, I said I can't use a comma, okay? In this one, I've used a comma. So what's the difference in the 2 sentences? We are going home, she stated, okay? What is the difference in that sentence? Oh, need to catch up with my chat. Brilliant. Millie straight in there. Okay. Millie spotted it. My reporting clause is at the end of the sentence on this one, okay? Not at the start. So, if I have my reporting clause at the end of the sentence, okay, so I'm just going to notes up. But at the end of a sentence, this sentence hasn't ended, so I can't use a full stop, okay? Because the sentence hasn't ended, so instead I use a comma. Now, if that was a question, I would still have a question mark there if it said, when are we going home? If that was being shouted, we're going home, okay? Then we'd have an exclamation mark. But if it's just said normally, instead of a full stop, we put a comma, okay? So you only put a comma at the end, you'll have a question mark or an exclamation mark, which will go there no matter where your speech is. Now, at the end of the sentence, to decide whether it's a full stop or a comma, it depends whether it's at the end of the sentence. So at the end of a sentence, full stop. If it's in the middle of a sentence, a comma. Okay, so that's one to remember. Now, there are also, just checking this example because I want to make sure we're getting this right there. Okay, when we split our speech, okay, and I'll show you what I mean by say split our speech. we need to make sure that we are only putting the inverted commas around what we said. So if I put down, where's my example? Go on, comma, because it's at the start of the sentence. He said urgently. Full stop. Go to the shop. Full stop, it's at the end of the sentence. So you can see here, I've split my speech there. Go on, he said urgently, go to the shop. So the person probably said, go on, go to the shop. Left a little bit of a pause, okay? So we've got our, we've got our reporting clause there. And don't, no, I'm just seeing Miss Allison put in there that people complain about people stealing answers, okay? It doesn't matter. Just, if you know your answer, put your answers down. Doesn't matter, okay? As long as you understand, that's the important thing. The answers in the chat don't really matter, okay? It helps me know that you understand. That's why they're important, not for the people got them. So you can see in here, I've got a reporting clause in the middle there. Go on, go to the shop. But what I've done is I've put, go on, he said urgently, go to the shop. Now I haven't just got my inverted commas around the whole thing because it's speech, because this wasn't said, was it? So it means I need to open and close my inverted commas because that's what they said, and then it's spoke again there, okay? So I need my inverted commas around both things that was said. But we can split our speech up another way. What we can also do when we split our speech up is we can split our speech up but keep it in the same sentence, and I'll show you an example. So we could write, well done, comma, she whispered. You were great. Okay, so this one is all one sentence now. Okay, it's not two sentences. So I've had to have a comma to lead into my second part. Again, I've only got my inverted commas around what's being said. Okay, not around the whole thing, because no one said, she whispered. But there is one thing that is slightly different in this speech, okay, and it's around here, okay. There's one thing that is different because the speech is split in one sentence. Can anyone spot it? Give you a clue. It's around here. It's around to do with this piece of speech. This is a little bit different than any of the other speech that I have wrote. Okay. No one's got it yet. Can no one spot? No Hadassah, not a reporting clause, nothing to do with that. Okay, my reporting clause is still fine. Okay, I've still got my comma lead name, but there's something here that's a little bit different. Brilliant, Freya has got it. No one else has got that. Well done, Freya. Really spotted it there. Have a look at the start of that speech. There is no capital letter. Okay, look at all the other speech that we've got. We've got capital letters at the start because that's one of our rules. However, when you split your speech in one sentence, that doesn't have a capital letter because the rule was you have a capital letter at the start of your speech. This is the start of the speech, isn't it? Okay, because we could have, well done, you were great, she whispered. Okay, so this is the start of the speech. So it's like we've split this sentence up. Okay, it was one and we're split it with our reporting clause in the middle just because we're being cleverer writers. So we don't have a capital because this is not the start of the speech. This is still part of this, but only when it's in the same sentence. Look here, when it was in another sentence, when we split it, it had a capital letter. Now, that's some of the more difficult parts of the speech that you need to understand. So if you need to go over that a little bit. Now, lesson has went on a little bit longer than I was thinking. So I was going to practice with some sentences up there and get you to spot them. However, there are loads of tasks there, so they will be able to help you. And you can still contact us for help and stuff, so I'm going to leave it there. So, if if you attend the lessons last week, you know exactly where we go from now. If you haven't, I will let you know. Okay, down in the description there are 2 links, one for a Year 5 Padlet and one for a Year 6 Padlet. Now, Padlet's just a web page where we keep all of our work on for you to download. You don't need to log in, don't need access, anything like that. Just go on, and if you go to English and have a look at Monday's lesson, there will be a worksheet that you can do after this lesson that goes along with what we've learned. First part is a little spelling practice with our I before E rule, and then some tasks on direct speech. Okay, you download from there. Now, some of the work sometimes will be the same on the 2 Padlets, but as well as that, just to let you know, apart from the live lessons, guys, there is work for every single day there, okay? Some work for a morning and an afternoon. So I do my live lessons every day, but with still, although I'm not doing an English lesson again until Friday, there is still English work every single day if you want it. Okay, so that's all there. Now, with the work down in there, get that, have a go at it. You can send it to us. You can ask us any questions on my socials, or you can obviously ask on the Padlet. You can comment on the video as well if you need any help. So all those things I will do, try and help you if you need any help at all. Once you've done the work though as well, underneath the link for the Padlet in the description, there is a link for a Kahoot. Now, Kahoots, if you haven't done them yet, is an online little quiz thing where it'll ask you some questions linked to today's lessons, and it'll give you a score at the end. Okay, it's the top 3 that I gave out last earlier on in the lesson. Okay, so let's see if we can have some really good answers. Let's see who can get on the top of that for next week. So that'll run for the week. That's up there all week, so you don't have to do it today. You can do it another day, and I will get all your scores. So well done for that. Thanks for coming along to the lesson. If you did enjoy the lesson, if it helped, okay, please like it. If you are new to the lesson and it's helped and you think that something's handy, we do have lessons every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Different subjects. Come along and hopefully help you out as much as we can. What I am going to say as well is this week the schedule is a little different. If you have a look at my Facebook page or my Twitter, on Thursday I'm actually in school looking after key worker children, so I can't do my live lesson on Thursday. Now, I know I normally do 2 live lessons on a Thursday, but I'm going to move my art one to Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to be doing maths tomorrow, science on Wednesday morning, and we'll be doing art Wednesday afternoon. There'll be no live lesson this Thursday as I will be in school. Okay, so I hope that's okay. Like always, I'm going to stay around for another 5-10 minutes maybe. If there's any help or anything you need, pop it in the comment section is the best, okay? Or the chat while I'm still there. Let me know, and me or some of the other teachers will try and help you if there's something that you haven't understood. And if I catch it, I can maybe help you up on the board as well, okay? So thanks for coming along. If you're going to get on with the work, see you later. Stop around and chat a little bit. I'll talk to you in a couple of seconds. Thanks. When you're there, so you're asking how you get on the Padlet, if you go down the description, there is a hyperlink. If you click on there, it'll get you straight onto it. Okay, so if you need the worksheets, just look in the description of the video, I think you might have to click show more for the description, and there'll be year 6 Padlet, year 5 Padlet. Click on the one that you want on the hyperlink, and it'll get you to the work. Right, guys, answered a few questions and things like that in the chat. Hope that's helped out. Okay, if you are struggling anything with getting into work or anything like that, pop it in the comments. Okay, or use the socials, Miss Things 123 on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can send me any questions or anything like that. We can help you out. Okay, if you go to my school as well, obviously if you check the school Twitter as well, you can comment and get in contact with us through that as well. So if you have any problems, let us know. Okay, thanks a lot for coming along to the lesson today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, we're going to have maths tomorrow. One little thing for people who are still here, if you go to my school, I issued a challenge on Reading Plus on Friday. That's still there. Year 5s have actually overtook Year 6, so Year 5s will win at the minute. And I said whichever year wins, whoever has read the most in that year, okay, they are going to get, I'm going to try and think of some prize, and it's going to be something to do with TikTok. Okay, so if you want to be with that, Year 5, 6, your Reading Plus is really important to help you be ready for next year. So do some when you can, please. I see some people on there all the time. Some people haven't been on it since we left school. Okay, it will really help you for next year. So get onto there if you can, and let's see who can win Year 5 or Year 6. But well done, Year 5, for the minute you're in the lead. Okay, thanks a lot, and hopefully see you tomorrow for our math lesson. Bye.